Get your filthy hands off her. Vanessa's voice sliced through the air like a blade, her eyes narrowing at Isabella, the new black nanny kneeling by Clara's side in the opulent Hollywood Hills mansion. Isabella's dark skin glistened under the harsh chandelier light, her grip firm on the trembling, blind girl's shoulders, shielding her from Vanessa's advancing fury. Clara, 9 years old and sightless since birth, whimpered, her small hands clutching Isabella's apron, as if it were a lifeline, her anxiety spiking from the sudden outburst. Richard Albright burst through the front door, his tailored suit rumpled from the frantic drive across Los Angeles traffic, his CEO badge still clipped to his lapel. He froze at the scene, his wife, Vanessa, with her perfectly coiffed blonde hair and diamond earrings flashing, pointing accusingly at Isabella. This woman is overstepping. She's not even been here a month, and she's acting like she owns the place. Vanessa spat, her European accent sharpening each word, her motive clear. She couldn't stand anyone encroaching on her control over the household, especially someone from the wrong side of town like Isabella, who hailed from Chicago's rough neighborhoods. Isabella's jaw tightened, her warm brown eyes locking onto Vanessa's cold blue ones, but she didn't release Clara. Ma'am, the child is scared. She needs calm, not commands. Her voice carried a soft, southern lilt, steady despite the insult, driven by her own buried grief. Losing her daughter Lucia to illness years ago had forged her into a protector, and now, hired through an old connection to Richard's late wife Emily, she sensed the same vulnerability in Clara. Richard stepped forward, his heart pounding from the emergency call he'd received mid-board meeting, his success as a tech mogul meaning nothing in this moment of family chaos. Vanessa, what the hell is going on? He demanded, his voice booming, but inside guilt gnawed at him. He'd buried himself in work to escape the pain of Emily's death 4 years ago in that car crash, leaving Clara's care to others, and now this eruption exposed the fractures. Vanessa whirled on him, her manicured nails digging into her palms. Your daughter threw another fit, and this nanny, hired from God knows where, is coddling her like some street savior. We pay her to clean and watch, not play mother. The word street hung heavy, laced with disdain for Isabella's background, a former language teacher who'd crossed oceans from Europe to Mexico before settling in America, her resilience born from poverty and loss. Clara's sobs escalated, her blind eyes wide with terror, triggering memories of her mother's absence, her tiny frame shaking against Isabella's protective hold. Isabella whispered to the girl, breathe with me, little one. In, out, her motive pure, to soothe as she'd done for her own disabled child. But Vanessa lunged forward, grabbing a bottle of sedatives from the side table. Enough! She needs her medicine now. Richard's face flushed with rage, blocking Vanessa's path. Stop! Clara's not a problem to drag away. His defense stemmed from paternal instinct, long suppressed by his empire building. But seeing Isabella's quiet strength stirred something deeper, a reminder of Emily's kindness. Isabella stood slowly, her necklace with Lucia's name glinting, her posture unyielding. Sir, your daughter dreams of her mother. Nightmares hit hard today. Vanessa scoffed. Excuses from the help. The tension coiled tighter, Richard's mind racing. How had his home become this battlefield? Clara's hand reached out blindly toward her father, a silent plea that pierced him, setting the stage for revelations he never saw coming. She's poisoning her mind with that nonsense, Vanessa snarled into the phone, her voice echoing through the mansion's marble halls as she paced the upstairs landing, glaring at Isabella, who knelt shielding Clara from the escalating storm. Isabella's fists clenched at her sides, her protective stance unbroken, driven by the raw instinct to guard the child like her own lost Lucia. But Vanessa cut her off mid-breath. Don't you dare speak back. You're just the help. Stay in your lane. The slur hung thick, Vanessa's motive exposed. She craved absolute control to hide her manipulations, her European poise cracking under the pressure of Clara's cries piercing the air. Downstairs, Thomas, the loyal driver with his weathered Irish face and calloused hands from years of service, gripped the phone tighter in the garage, his loyalty to Richard fueling his urgent call. Sir, it's bad. Clara's in full panic again, screaming about her mother. The nanny's trying to calm her, but Mrs. Vanessa, she's making it worse, forcing those pills down. Thomas's voice cracked, his fatherly concern clashing with Vanessa's demands. He'd seen enough of her cold calculations to know she viewed Clara as an obstacle to her lavish life, not a daughter to nurture. Richard's phone buzzed in his boardroom, the Los Angeles skyline mocking his empire from the window as he snatched it up. His board members' stares ignored. "Thomas, slow down. What happened?" His pulse hammered, guilt surging. He'd hired Isabella weeks ago on Emily's old friend's recommendation, hoping her background as a teacher from Chicago's tough streets would bring stability. But now this chaos erupted. Thomas rushed on. "The girl's having nightmares, sir." Isabella's singing to her, holding her close. But Vanessa stormed in, accusing her of overstepping. "She's got the sedatives out. Triple dose," I heard her say. Clara's terrified, clinging to the nanny like she's the only safe thing left. Vanessa's heels clicked sharply as she descended the stairs, overhearing snippets, her rage boiling over her secret fears. If Isabella bonded too deeply with Clara, her plans to isolate the girl and siphon funds from the trust might unravel. "Hang up that phone, Thomas. This is my house," she barked at him through the door. But Thomas ignored her, whispering to Richard, "Hurry, sir. She's crossing lines." Richard slammed his fist on the table, board meeting forgotten, his paternal fire igniting. Emily's death had left him blind to Vanessa's games, but Clara's vulnerability tore through that veil. "I'm on my way. Don't let her touch Clara." He bolted from the room, tires screeching soon after, the call's urgency propelling him into the heart of the brewing war at home. "Back off, you intruder!" Vanessa hissed, her voice a venomous whip as Richard slammed the mansion door open, tires still smoking from his reckless drive through Los Angeles rush hour. She towered over Isabella, who crouched shielding Clara's quaking form on the grand staircase, the blind girl's fingers digging into the nanny's arm like claws against the storm. Isabella's teeth ground together, her protective fury rising. She wouldn't budge, her Chicago grit forged in loss fueling her stand against this woman's poison, especially knowing Vanessa's hidden claws from Emily's shadowed past. The house pulsed with chaos, servants scattered like shadows, Clara's wails echoing off crystal chandeliers, glass shattering from an overturned vase in the frenzy. Vanessa's lips curled in disgust, her diamond bracelet jangling as she thrust the sedative bottle forward. "This child is mine to handle. You think your kind knows better?" The jab struck deep, her motive bare, preserving her throne in this gilded cage, where Clara's fits threatened her social empire, her plans to drug and discard the girl to claim full control over Richard's fortune. Richard charged up the stairs, his chest heaving, sweat beading on his brow from the betrayal unfolding. "Vanessa, drop it now!" he roared, shoving between them, his CEO armor cracking under the weight of paternal rage he'd long suppressed since Emily's crash. Isabella rose slightly, her necklace pendant pressing against her skin like a talisman, whispering to Clara, "Hold on, sweetheart. Your dad's here." Vanessa's eyes blazed, nails biting into the bottle. "She's faking it for attention. I have a gala, important people waiting. Send her away already." Her dismissal cut like ice, exposing her core. Ambition over empathy, using Clara's blindness as leverage to isolate and manipulate. Clara's sobs choked off into gasps, her hand groping for Richard's, pulling him into the eye of the hurricane as Isabella's steady gaze promised unspoken truths, yet to shatter the facade. "You're poisoning her against me," Vanessa spat, lunging at Isabella with the sedative bottle raised like a weapon, her fingers white-knuckled around the glass as Richard's hand shot out, grabbing her wrist mid-swing. Isabella's body tensed, shielding Clara tighter, her Chicago-forged spine rigid against the assault, her motive unyielding, to protect this fragile girl from the venom she'd sensed since day one, echoes of her own daughter's final days fueling her defiance. Clara's blind fingers tightened on Richard's sleeve, her whimpers slicing the air, pulling him deeper into the fray as Vanessa wrenched free, her eyes blazing hatred. "This black outsider thinks she can mother my stepdaughter? Get out before I call security." Richard's grip shifted to Vanessa's arm, yanking her back with brute force, his CEO calm, shattered by paternal storm. "Enough! Back off her! Now!" He shoved her aside, her heels skidding on the marble, rage contorting her features as she stumbled, the bottle clattering to the floor, pills scattering like accusations. Isabella's breath hitched, but she didn't flinch, her warm voice cutting through to Clara. "Easy, child. Sing with me. Soft now." Her melody in Spanish rose, a lullaby from her Mexican teaching days. Rapping Clara Larimer more, the girl's sobs easing into shaky hums, her trust blooming in Isabella's hold despite the chaos. Vanessa charged again, nails clawing the air. "Stop that foreign garbage! She's my responsibility. You're fired!" But Richard blocked her path, his face inches from hers, voice a thunderclap. "Touch them, and you're done here!" The shove sent her reeling into the banister, wood creaking under impact, her composure cracking as she clutched the rail. Motive exposed, fear that Isabella's bond would unravel her web of lies. The car crash she'd orchestrated to claim Emily's place, now haunting her glare. Isabella's eyes met Richard's, steady and piercing, her necklace pendant warm against her chest. A silent vow to reveal the truths she'd carried from Emily's friendship. Clara's humming grew stronger, her small hand releasing Richard to reach for Isabella's face, tracing her features blindly, a spark of peace igniting in her anxious core. "You can't defend this intruder over me!" Vanessa shrieked, regaining footing and snatching a phone from her pocket, fingers stabbing the screen for security. Richard snatched it away, crushing it in his palm, shards digging into skin as blood trickled, his fury unchecked. "She's staying! You! Out of this room!" Vanessa's retreat was a hiss, backing down the stairs with venomous stares, but not before kicking a scattered pill toward Isabella's feet. Isabella scooped Clara up, the girl's weight light in her strong arms, whispering, "You're safe, Isabella. No more storms." Richard knelt beside them, his hand hovering, awe cracking his defenses as Clara's face softened, her blind eyes seeming to see hope for the first time. Isabella's song faded, but its echo lingered, a fragile bridge amid the wreckage, hinting at deeper secrets ready to erupt. "You dare defy me in my own home!" Vanessa's screech echoed from the hallway as she stormed back up the stairs, her fist pounding the banister, eyes locked on Isabella, who still cradled Clara in her arms, the lullaby's remnants hanging like a shield. Isabella's shoulders squared, her grip unyielding on the blind girl, her motive fierce, to heal this child's terror with the same unbreaking love she'd given Lucia. But Vanessa cut in sharply. "Richard, control your staff! She's brainwashing Clara with that slum wisdom." The insult landed like a slap, Vanessa's claws out to reclaim dominance, her secret guilt over Emily's crash fueling her attack, fearing Isabella's insight might expose her. Richard's hand clamped on Vanessa's shoulder, spinning her around with iron force. "Out, now! This ends!" He propelled her toward the door, her protest slicing the air. "You'll regret this favoritism." But he slammed it shut behind her, the lock clicking like a final verdict, his breath ragged from the clash, paternal fire now aimed at protection. Turning back, he knelt before Isabella and Clara, his voice dropping to a gravel whisper. "Thank you for stopping that madness." Isabella's eyes softened slightly, but her jaw stayed firm, setting Clara down gently, the girl's fingers lingering on her sleeve as if anchoring to safety. "No magic here, sir. Just ears that listen." Her words carried the weight of her past, a teacher who'd crossed continents, her Chicago roots and European scars, molding her into this quiet warrior. Vanessa's footsteps faded downstairs, but her venom lingered, prompting Richard to probe deeper, his curiosity ignited by Isabella's calm amid the storm. "How did you know to sing like that? Clara never let strangers close." Isabella's fingers traced her necklace, the silver pendant etched with Lucia's name, pressing into her palm like a heartbeat, her motive transparent, to share enough truth without unleashing the full storm yet. "Years teaching kids like her, sir, in Europe, for 17 years, drilling languages into restless minds, then Mexico, 6 more, where heat and poverty taught patience raw." She paused, her voice cracking just once, eyes distant as Clara leaned into her side, the girl's blind trust pulling confessions free. "You've lost someone," Richard pressed, his own grief mirroring in his stare. Emily's ghost hovering as he sat on the step beside them. Isabella nodded, teeth biting her lip to steady the surge. My daughter, Lucia, born broken, cerebral palsy twisting her body, autism locking her words. But she shone, sir, taught me courage in every breath she fought for. Clara's hand found Isabella's knee, squeezing, her anxiety easing into curiosity. Was she like me? Scared of everything? Isabella's hand covered the girl's, warmth flowing. She was brave like you, Clara. Saw the world through touch and sound, turned pain into power. Richard's fist clenched on his thigh, empathy surging. He'd buried Emily's memory in boardrooms, but this woman's story cracked that vault. Emily, Clara's mother, she died in a crash, left us shattered. You remind me of her kindness. Vanessa's muffled shouts from below intruded, banging on a door, but Richard ignored them, drawn deeper into Isabella's orbit. Why come here, from Chicago's streets to this? Isabella's gaze hardened, hinting at buried fury. Hired through Emily's old friend. I knew her, sir. Close, back when she needed allies. The revelation hung, a spark of suspicion flickering in Richard's eyes, his mind racing to connections he'd overlooked. Clara tugged Isabella's sleeve. Sing more? About brave girls? Isabella obliged, her voice weaving tales of Lucia's triumphs, but her eyes locked on Richard's, silently vowing the full truth about Vanessa's role in Emily's end would surface soon. Richard's hand brushed Clara's hair, all building as the girl's laughter bubbled. First in months, her blind joy piercing fences, while Isabella's shared pain forged an unspoken alliance, tensions simmering for the explosions ahead. You think your sob story gives you rights here? Vanessa burst through the door again, her voice a razor slashing the fragile piece, fists slamming the frame as she advanced on Isabella, who stood protectively beside Clara, the girl's laughter still echoing faintly from moments ago. Isabella's neck stiffened, her hand instinctively pulling Clara closer, motive ironclad, to nurture this budding trust before Vanessa's venom crushed it, her own scars from Lucia's loss armoring her against the assault. Back away, ma'am. This child's blooming, not breaking. But Vanessa lunged, grabbing Isabella's arm with vice-like fingers. Blooming? Under your ghetto guidance. Richard, wake up. She's turning Clara into a charity case. Richard surged to his feet, shoving Vanessa's hand off Isabella with a sharp yank, her nails scraping fabric as she recoiled, fury twisting her face. Get out! Stay out! His command thundered, propelling her backward into the wall, picture frames rattling from the impact, his protective rage exploding unchecked now that Clara's joy had pierced his numbness. Vanessa clawed the air, regaining balance. You'll choose her over me? This intruder with her dead kid tales? The cruelty struck, but Isabella didn't flinch, her eyes blazing back, fingers intertwining with Clara's blind ones, whispering, Ignore the noise, Clara. You're no case. You're a gift. Clara's grip tightened, her anxiety flickering but not igniting, the nanny's words planting seeds of worth in her shattered heart. Vanessa charged once more, voice cracking with desperation. She's faking that laugh. Drug her now. Restore order. But Richard blocked her, chest heaving, his fist pounding the table nearby, wood splintering slightly under the blow. No more pills. Clara's alive here. For once. The shove sent Vanessa stumbling down a step, her heel catching, nearly toppling her as she caught the rail. Motive unraveling. Fear that Clara's awakening would expose her financial siphoning from the girl's trust fund. Isabella knelt swiftly, pulling Clara into a gentle embrace, her voice steady. Ask me anything, child. Am I special like Lucia? Clara's head tilted, blind eyes searching nothingness, her voice tentative. Am I a burden, like she says? Isabella's palm pressed Clara's cheek, warmth flooding. Burden? Your treasure. Lucia taught me that. Blindness? That's your superpower. Seeing with heart where eyes fail. Richard dropped to one knee beside them, awe gripping his throat as Clara's lips curved upward again, a giggle escaping. Pure, unforced. The first true sound of delight in over a year since Emily's crash. Daddy, listen. She says I can fly inside. Her words stabbed him, guilt surging for his absent days buried in tech deals. But hope flickered now, drawn by Isabella's unyielding empathy. Vanessa's retreat halted at the door, her glare daggers. This fantasy will ruin her. Mark my words, she slammed out. But Richard ignored her, turning to Isabella. Teach her more. Stay as tutor, full time. Isabella's breath caught, hesitation flashing, fear of another heartbreak like Lucia's death. But Clara's tug on her sleeve sealed it. Please, sing the brave song. Isabella nodded, motive shifting to commitment, her voice rising in Italian this time. Emily's language that Clara had abandoned in grief, the melody coaxing forgotten words from the girl's lips. Clara echoed haltingly, Mama's words? Si, volare? Her pronunciation stumbled but grew, blind hands gesturing as if painting air, anxiety melting into exploration. Richard's eyes widened, fist unclenching as memories of Emily flooded back, not in pain, but warmth. She's speaking it again, after all this time. Isabella's nod was firm, her necklace glinting as she guided Clara's hands to clap in rhythm. Safe spaces unlock doors, sir. She's reconnecting, to joy, to her mother. The girl's laughter swelled, infectious, pulling Richard into a rare smile, his hand joining theirs in the clap. Barriers crumbling under this unexpected alliance. Vanessa's muffled curses from downstairs intruded, plotting her next strike. But inside the room, transformation accelerated. Clara stood, blind but bold, reaching for Isabella's guidance. Show me the garden? Smell powers? Isabella rose, leading her toward the window, motive pure to empower. Touch the earth, feel its pulse. That's your strength. Richard followed, heart pounding with renewed purpose, watching Clara's steps steady, her voice stronger in Italian phrases, hope igniting like wildfire in his once barren soul. But shadows lingered. Isabella's glance back at him hinted at unrevealed storms, her friendship with Emily a ticking bomb ready to detonate Vanessa's facade. Filthy hands off that dirt! Vanessa exploded through the garden door, her boots stomping the threshold as she caught Isabella, guiding Clara's fingers into the soil, the blind girl's face alight with discovery, earth crumbling under her touch. Isabella's back straightened like steel, yanking Clara behind her, motive blazing, to shield this innocent exploration from Vanessa's crushing grip. Her own history of empowering Lucia against odds now clashing head-on with this woman's disdain. This is learning, ma'am, not filth. Back off. But Vanessa surged forward, slapping Isabella's wrist away, nails drawing red lines on dark skin. Learning? From you. Slumming our garden into a pigsty. Richard bolted from the window ledge, intercepting Vanessa with a shoulder check that sent her staggering into a flower bed, petals crushing under her fall, her scream piercing the air. Touch her again, and you're gone. His veins bulged, paternal shield fully deployed, fury amplified by Clara's newfound spark. He wouldn't let Vanessa snuff it to preserve her pristine facade. Vanessa scrambled up, dirt smearing her designer skirt, eyes wild with humiliation. Gone? For stopping this nonsense? She's blind, not superhuman. Your pet nanny's delusions will break her. She lunged at the soil pile, kicking it, scattering, motive raw. Sabotage to reassert control, fearing Clara's confidence would loosen her hold on the family's purse strings. Isabella shoved back, her palm flat against Vanessa's chest, force enough to halt the advance, her necklace swinging like a pendulum of resolve. Delusions? Clara's touching life, smelling roses, feeling roots. That's power you can't drag away. Clara whimpered behind her, blind hands clutching air, anxiety surging from the assault. But Isabella's voice anchored her. Breathe, Clara. Earth's your friend, not foe. Vanessa's slap flew toward Isabella's face, but Richard caught her arm mid-air, twisting it until she yelped, bones straining under his grip. No more! Clara decides, not you! The release flung her sideways, crashing into a bench, wood splintering as she hit, breath knocked out in a gasp. You side with trash over wife? Vanessa wheezed, rising with venom, fingers pointing like daggers at Isabella's origins. Chicago gutter rat teaching my stepdaughter mud games? Dangerous fantasies. Her words stabbed, motive escalating, to demean and divide, hiding her theft from Clara's fun behind righteous outrage. Isabella's fist balled, stepping forward despite the risk, her voice a whip. Fantasy? Your pills poison her spirit. 3 times a day. Overdose to silence screams you caused. The accusation landed, Clara's gasp echoing it, the girl's memory flashing to foggy days under Vanessa's regime, her trust in Isabella deepening the divide. Richard's face drained of color, turning on Vanessa with lethal calm. 3 times? You swore twice, Max. He advanced, grabbing her collar, yanking her close, breath hot on her face. Explain, now! Vanessa wrenched free, fabric tearing, her retreat a stumble toward the house. For peace, your meetings uninterrupted, your empire safe. But Isabella pressed, motive for justice burning from Emily's buried truths. Peace? She's collapsing. Got you last week from your calm. Clara's cry broke free. It hurts, Daddy. Makes me sleep scary. The revelation crushed Richard, his fist slamming a garden post, bark flying as pain radiated up his arm. Vanessa charged Isabella again, voice hysterical. Lies from the help. Fire her before she ruins us. Her shove connected, sending Isabella reeling into thorns, scratches blooming on her arms, blood welling. See? Violent intruder. But Isabella rose, thorns snagging her dress, eyes locked on Vanessa. Violent? You're the storm, drugging a child to hide your greed. Richard pulled Isabella back, but his glare fixed on Vanessa, suspicion igniting. Greed? What does she mean? Vanessa's laugh cracked, forced and sharp. Madness! Jealous of my place! She bolted for the door, but Richard's shout halted her. Stop! Or confess! Clara's hands groped forward, finding Isabella's scratched arm, her touch a balm. Don't let her win, please. Isabella knelt, bandaging her wounds with a torn sleeve. Motive unbroken, to empower Clara amid the war. I won't, treasure. Your super senses smell lies. Trust them. Richard's hand joined theirs, alliance solidifying. But Vanessa's parting glare from the threshold promised retaliation, her fingers dialing her mother's number in secret, plotting to dismantle this threat. Tension coiled tighter, Richard's questions mounting as Isabella's hints of deeper betrayals simmered, ready to boil over into full confrontation. She's stealing our child! Vanessa's accusation detonated from the study door, her phone clutched like a grenade as she charged at Isabella, who stood wiping garden dirt from Clara's hands, the blind girl's smile fading into fear. Isabella's eyes narrowed to slits, stepping in front of Clara with arms outstretched, motive exploding, to unleash the truth she'd guarded, her bond with Emily demanding justice now against this manipulator's lies. Stealing? You're the thief, draining her fun like blood. But Vanessa swung her free hand, connecting with Isabella's shoulder, shoving her against the desk, papers flying in chaos. Richard erupted from the hallway, grabbing Vanessa's arm and twisting it behind her back, her phone clattering to the floor mid-dial. What fund? Speak! His hold tightened, bones grinding as she squirmed, paternal betrayal fueling the crush. He'd trusted her with Clara's inheritance, but Isabella's words ignited doubts like foil fire. Vanessa kicked backward, heel slamming his shin, drawing blood through fabric. Let go! She's lying! Jealous black witch poisoning your mind! The slur ignited Isabella, who lunged forward despite the pain, snatching the dropped phone, screen still lit with her mother's contact. Witch! Check this! Your call's to hide the crash! Vanessa wrenched free from Richard, nails raking his face, lines of red blooming as she snatched for the device. Give it back! You don't belong here! But Isabella held firm, thumb scrolling texts, her voice ablade. Emily's crash, your texts brag. Problem solved. He's mine now. Clara's gasp cut through, blind hands covering ears, anxiety coiling like a spring from the revelations shredding her world. Richard's fist connected with the wall beside Vanessa's head, plaster cracking, his roar deafening. You caused it? Drunk behind the wheel. Vanessa's denial burst. Accident. She was weak. Clara's burden too. Isabella thrust the phone at Richard, evidence glaring on screen, messages detailing the sabotage, Vanessa's motive bare. Eliminate Emily to seize the fortune. Drug Clara to control the remnants. I knew Emily. Best friends. She confided your jealousy, your plots. Vanessa charged Isabella, tackling her to the ground, knees pinning her chest, fists pounding her shoulders. Shut up! Outsider trash! Expose me and rot! Air whooshed from Isabella's lungs, but she rolled, reversing the pin, her elbow jamming Vanessa's throat. Rot! You killed her! For money! Richard hauled Vanessa off, slamming her against the bookshelf, volumes tumbling like accusations. Proof! Now! His fingers dug into her arms, bruising flesh as she spat defiance. Proof? Delusions from the help! Fire her! Save us! But Isabella rose, blood trickling from a split lip, handing him the phone again. Read. Dates match the crash. She drove drunk, covered it up to marry you. Clara's sobs escalated, crawling toward Isabella's voice. Mama, gone because of her? Isabella scooped her up, holding tight, motive surging, to comfort amid the wreckage, her own loss mirroring Clara's. Vanessa broke free, grabbing a letter opener from the desk, brandishing it like a dagger. Stay back, or I'll end this. Richard disarmed her in a flash, twisting her wrist until the blade dropped, clanging on wood, his knee driving into her gut, doubling her over. Confess all of it. Gasping, Vanessa collapsed to her knees, tears streaking her makeup, motive crumbling under pressure. Fine, I wanted it all. Emily out, Clara drugged, silent. Funds mine. Institute for her. Freedom for me. The admission shattered Richard, his punch grazing her jaw, sending her sprawling, blood on her lip matching Isabella's. Clara clung to Isabella, whispering through tears. Make her go, please. Isabella's arms tightened, eyes meeting Richard's over the girl's head, her revelation complete. Evidence here. Police next. Richard nodded, dragging Vanessa upright by her collar, her struggles futile. You're finished. He shoved her toward the door, her final glare a promise of revenge, but defeat etched her features as she stumbled out. Isabella rocked Clara gently, whispering assurances, while Richard's hands shook with rage and relief, the exposed truce forging unbreakable bonds, yet paving the path for healing's harsh dawn. You murdered her. Admit it. Richard's fist crashed into the doorframe beside Vanessa's head, splintering wood as she cowered in the study corner, her bruised jaw swelling from the earlier scuffle, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Isabella stood guard over Clara, arms wrapped around the blind girl's trembling shoulders, motive resolute, to witness this downfall for Emily's sake, her scratches throbbing but ignored in the heat of justice. Deny it again! Dare you! But Vanessa lashed out, nails aiming for Richard's eyes. Lies from your black savior! I'll sue! Ruin you both! Richard dodged, grabbing her wrists and slamming them against the wall, bones jarring under his crush. Sue? For what? Your crash confession? Emily's blood on your hands. Vanessa kneed his thigh, connecting hard, pain shooting up his leg as she twisted free, breath ragged. Accident! You needed me. Clara's a curse. Isabella's voice sliced in. Curse? You drugged her to steal. Clara's sob erupted. Go away, kill her. The words stabbed Vanessa, her face crumpling, motive collapsing under the weight of exposure. Richard released her with a shove, sending her stumbling toward the exit, suitcase already half-packed in her mind. Choose, Richard, me or them. He advanced, voice ice-cold. Them. Pack and leave, now. Vanessa's slap flew, but he caught it mid-air, twisting her arm until she dropped to her knees, tears streaming. You'll regret. I'll take half. Richard's boot pressed her shoulder down. Try. Cops have the texts. 6 months later, the divorce is final. Go. She rose, defeated, snatching her purse, final glare venomous. Enjoy your slum family. The door slammed behind her, echoes fading as she fled, peace descending like a blade's sheath. Richard turned to Isabella and Clara, his hands shaking, the void of her absence already filling with resolve, paving the way for rebirth. "You're free now, breathe!" Isabella's command sliced the silence left by Vanessa's slammed door, her hands cupping Clara's tear-streaked face as the blind girl gasped, chest heaving from the storm's aftermath. Richard's knuckles whitened on the frame, splintered wood digging into skin, his glare following Vanessa's vanishing shadow, motive shifting, to rebuild from ashes, paternal wounds demanding action. "She's gone, for good." But Clara's whimper cut him. "Daddy," hurts inside. Isabella pulled her close, arms a fortress, her scratched skin ignored in the surge of maternal fire forged from Lucia's memory. Richard knelt, his hand engulfing Clara's tiny one, squeezing until bones protested. "No more hurt, promise." The vow ignited change, his CEO armor cracking as he lifted Clara, carrying her to the piano room, Isabella trailing with steady steps, her necklace swaying like a beacon. "Play, Clara. Let music fight the dark." Clara's fingers trembled on keys, blind but bold. Notes stumbling at first, discordant echoes of grief. But Isabella's guidance struck. "Feel it. Superpower time." Her palm pressed Clara's back, warmth flowing, motive pure to awaken joy buried under drugs and loss. Vanessa's ghost lingered in muffled echoes outside, but inside laughter cracked through. Clara's giggle as a melody formed, Italian lyrics spilling from her lips, Emily's language reborn. Richard's throat tightened, joining the tune with a rusty hum, his early returns from work now routine. Boardrooms forsaken for these moments. "Louder, kid! Fill the house!" The piano roared under Clara's touch, confidence surging, her blind eyes alight with inner fire, anxiety crumbling like Vanessa's facade. Isabella's voice wove in, harmonizing, her Chicago grit softening into melody, drawing Richard's gaze, admiration blooming into deeper pull. "See her shine, sir? No limits." Clara spun from the bench, hugging Isabella's waist. "You're my light. Stay forever." The embrace crushed Richard's last barriers, his arms encircling them both. Family reforming in the grip, house once tomb now pulsing with life. Laughter, music, shared meals replacing silence. But tenderness hinted at more, Richard's hand lingering on Isabella's shoulder, sparks of affection igniting amid the revival, setting the stage for confessions yet unspoken. "You've stolen my heart. Admit it." Richard's whisper cut the piano's fading notes, his fingers brushing Isabella's shoulder as Clara clapped wildly. The blind girl's joy radiating from her seat on the bench. Months of revival pulsing through the once silent house. Isabella's breath caught, her hand freezing mid-applaud. Motive conflicted. To guard her scarred soul from another shatter like Lucia's loss. But Richard's touch ignited flames she'd buried. "Sir, don't tease. Focus on her." But he pulled her aside, away from Clara's earshot, his grip firm on her wrist, pulling her into the hallway shadows. Clara's laughter bubbled on, oblivious, her fingers dancing over keys in newfound freedom, anxiety long crushed under Isabella's guidance. Richard pinned Isabella against the wall gently, his face inches from hers, eyes burning with unspoken hunger. "Not teasing. You've saved us. Me. Love you. For that strength." Isabella's palm pushed his chest, resistance cracking, her necklace pressing like a barrier. "Love, after Vanessa's poison, I'm just the help." He crushed her protest with a kiss, lips demanding, her body tensing, then melting, motive yielding to the pull of shared grief turned to fire. She shoved him back, breath ragged, fist pounding his shoulders once. "Stop. Heart's broken once. Can't risk." Richard caught her hands intertwining fingers, his knee pressing between hers. "Risk with me. Emily's gone. Lucia's gone. We heal together." Clara's voice called from the room. "Where'd you go? Play more." Isabella's eyes softened, pulling free but lingering close, her lips brushing his ear. "Time. Need time. For her sake." He nodded, releasing her, but his hand trailed her arm, sparks flying. "Take it, but know this. You're family now." Weeks blurred into tender clashes, stolen glances over dinners, his early returns clashing with her duties, affection building like a storm. Clara sensed it, tugging Isabella's sleeve. Daddy likes you, like Mama did. Isabella's denial faltered, motive shifting to embrace, her nights haunted by dreams of a new life. Richard cornered her in the garden one evening, dropping to one knee, ring glinting in his palm. Marry me. Build this forever. Isabella's knees buckled, her hand covering her mouth, tears stinging. Yes, but slow. Clara burst in, guided by sound. Say yes, Mama Isabella. The embrace sealed it, trio entangled, but the ring's weight promised ceremonies ahead, joys unfolding in their grasp. You're mine now, forever. Richard's vow thundered through the garden air, his arms crushing Isabella against him as Clara cheered blindly from the piano bench, her hands clapping wildly, the ring's weight on Isabella's finger, sealing the pact forged from ruins. Isabella's breath hitched, pushing back just enough to meet his eyes, motive fierce. To claim this joy without shattering, her scarred heart pounding from Lucia's echo but yielding to this new blaze. Forever? Prove it. Kiss harder. Her demand ignited him, lips devouring hers, bodies pressing until fabric strained. Clara's giggle cutting in. Ew, save for wedding. Vanessa's shadow banished, the garden transformed into an altar. Simple vows exchanged under blooming arches, Richard's grip on Isabella's waist unyielding as the officiant barked, Kiss the bride. He obeyed, dipping her low, her laughter bubbling against his mouth, motive raw to bind this family against past storms. Clara charged forward, blind but precise, her fingers finding the keyboard prop nearby, pounding the wedding march with fierce rhythm, notes clashing then harmonizing, her super senses guiding each strike. My turn, hug time! She barreled into their legs, toppling them into a heap of limbs and joy, Isabella's arms scooping her up, planting kisses on her forehead. 1 year later, Isabella's belly swelled with new life, her hand pressing Richard's to the kick. Boy, strong like you. He knelt, lips brushing the curve, vow renewing. Our son, protected always. Clara's hand joined, blind touch tracing the bump. Brother, I'll teach him powers. The trio entangled on the lawn, laughter echoing, house alive with cries and steps. Grief's chains snapped. But Isabella's glance at Richard hinted at endless battles won. Their union a fortress, ready for whatever shadows dared approach. You've rebuilt us from ashes. Richard's declaration sliced the garden quiet, his arms locking around Isabella and Clara as the baby boy's first cry pierced the air. Isabella's sweat-slicked face beaming despite labor's fresh scars. Motive triumphant, to forge unbreakable bonds from broken pasts. No more shadows, only us. Isabella's grip tightened on his hand, nails digging in fierce affirmation, her voice a whip of joy. Pain forged light. Lucia's gift lives here. Clara's blind fingers traced the infant's cheek, her laughter exploding. Brother, my power, buddy. Richard's kiss crushed Isabella's lips, bodies pressing in victory's heat. His empire forgotten for this core truth. Love's might over money's grasp. Family's choice. Daily fight won. Isabella nodded, pulling Clara closer, her necklace warm against her skin. Hope from hurt. Clara proves no chains bind. The girls' hug enveloped them all, blind but visionary. Limits? We smash them. Their circle tightened, cries and laughs merging, a testament to healing's blade. Justice carved from betrayal, love's fire tempering steel. In the end, this story reminds us that true family isn't defined by blood or wealth, but by the choices we make to love, protect, and seek justice, even when it means confronting painful truths and embracing unexpected heroes. Love has the power to heal the deepest wounds and turn heartbreak into hope. What about you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a moment where kindness triumphed over injustice? We'd love to hear your stories and build this community together. Thank you so much for watching. If this touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring tales, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. See you in the next one. Stay strong and keep believing in the power of love.